Hello, Princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Yeah, I'm excited. You'll see why in a minute. Today we are here to talk about the brand new Haus Labs by Lady Gaga Triclone Skin Tech Hydrating Concealer with Fermented Arnica. We're going to talk about it, we're going to try it on, and we are going to do a wear test. Right now it is very newly applied, but I'm going to let it go as long as I possibly can today, and I'll explain my tiredness situation. We are also going to put this onto my Not Fit for Print Beauty Concealer Spectrum, which I'm sorry to repeat myself if you've already heard it, but for those of you who haven't, I will explain it very quickly. Okay, this Triclone, I should say, Skin Tech Highlighting Concealer by Haus Labs is a much awaited accompaniment to the foundation of much the same name. I wear the foundation in 210 and I was matched in store, and I am wearing a very light covering of it right now so you can kind of see it in action. In the concealers, I got the shade 20 LM, which has a little bit of a peach cast to it. Would do a little bit of color correcting. And then for the rest of the face, I got the 21 LM neutral because the rest of my face has a very neutral undertone. I didn't have to get two. Frankly, I got two so we could try them for review. But, for your spending, everyone's got to watch their spending. You can get just one. And on both the Haus Labs website and on Sephora, you can look up if you wear this foundation, and it will give you a little chart that gives you some suggestions about what would match your skin tone, what would brighten, what would do a little color correcting. It's a really nice little chart, and I actually used it. That's what recommended the lighter shade of the two I got, the 20 LM with the slightly peach cast. They're $32 each, and you are bound to find your shade because there are 31 shades. Now, I mentioned that this has fermented arnica. That is an ingredient a proprietary ingredient for Haus Labs, but it's a common ingredient in a lot of different skincare and cosmetics, and it reduces inflammation and calms the skin, calms everything really. It's a beautiful kind of natural product, and Lady Gaga's Haus Labs employs it in a lot of her products, so you'll hear that a lot. This concealer has a natural finish, medium coverage, so the brand says, but we'll explore that in a moment. It is hydrating. It also works on acne and dark circles. So this is not meant to be just under the eye. It's also meant to, we all use concealer on little spots on the face too, but this one actually says it, which is kind of nice. It's got skincare ingredients in it. And as you probably noticed, if you're wondering, how'd you get that, Rebecca? No, I promise you I did not hijack a truck heading for Sephora. Hiding on the side of the road behind a makeup mirror and jumping out. No. There was a little quick sneaky release for a day or so on the Sephora site, and that's how I got mine. No tricks, no hijinks, I promise. Not that I'm not capable of it. Don't underestimate me, but not this time. Okay, let me show you with the 20, using the 20 as an example. It is a regular old stick concealer with a nice, beautiful little chubby, we like chubby, doe foot applicator. Really, really pretty, super easy to use, a little bit of a point, easy to get in there. Let it kind of sit on the skin in between when you're blending, especially when you're covering blemishes. We'll talk about that in the demo. Okay, let me explain to you. Oh, first of all, I should say it'll be available in store, I think, on the 7th of September. So I did get a little sneak peek, not because I'm special, but because I took advantage of it when they had it, okay? All right, so some of us are waiting to make our decision, and so many of you have told me you didn't know if to get the Tower 28, you didn't know whether to get the Mario, if you're talking about new concealers. Glossier has redone their concealers. There's a lot out there, and I know a lot of you are waiting and saving your money to see, especially because, this is $32. It's a pretty penny. So let's talk about it on my concealer spectrum. What I found, you guys, in my years as a fashion and beauty journalist, yes, I repeat that a lot. No, I'm not bragging. It's just we get new people coming in all the time, and I need you to know my background. When I started writing about concealers, I noticed, especially in describing it in type, I found that people tend to like the same consistency in concealers. So they like a really thick one, and a concealer comes out that's kind of watery and thin, they're not going to tend to like that. So I think it's like a moving spectrum. Here's how I see it. The thickest one I think is the Pat McGrath Labs. Some of you like it. It's not for me. You have to dab and barely use it and just blend, blend, blend. To me, it cakes up because I know no restraint. Another one in this category really would be the original Shape Tape, the very original, not the creamy or the radiant, but the original is really thick. And I think the KVD Good Apple is super duper thick too. Some of you guys love it, but those are the thickest. What I put in the thinnest category, though Valentino has a very kind of thin one, and Huda, really, in terms of concealers for coverage, you guys know, think that the Giorgio Armani Power Fabric is the most buildable, thinnest layer. All the concealers that have been released lately, including Mario and Tower 28, Charlotte Tilbury, Natasha Denona, they have been, Dior, we could put Dior in there, we could even put Givenchy in there, and you can ask me about your favorite below. Those really claim to be medium. That's the biggest kind of bunching of concealers we have. So let's talk about this and where this fits on my concealer fluidity spectrum, especially compared to Mario and Tower 28. Tower 28 is the lightest of the medium. It applies very thinly but covers in one coat, but it is very thin, almost veil-like. Surratt, which has released a new one, is even thinner than that. Then we move, Natasha is firmly in the middle, Charlotte is firmly in the middle. This Haus Labs is getting a little bit towards the thicker side. Just a little bit, still in the middle, but it's the thickest, especially of all the new ones. But for someone like me who hates thick, this is still medium coverage, and not quite that thick, but it blends like a dream. You just dot it, let it sit and chill for a little bit, 20 seconds, and then it just blends. You'll see in the demo. No caking, no creasing. Well, we'll do a wear test to make sure of that, don't you worry. But when it blended, the Pat McGrath cakes and creases on me pretty much immediately because I know no restraint. But this Haus Labs just blends beautifully. Even though it's on the thicker side of medium, it kind of uses it to its advantage. Is it the Arnica? Or is it all the little monster love from Lady Gaga? I don't know. What we need to do now is we need to go to the demo so you can see me applying it, see what I'm working with, because I am tired. I know you wouldn't know it. I look fresh-faced. I'm exhausted. We all are, really, aren't we? Okay, so I'm going to go to the demo, and you'll see. Make sure you're sitting down, take a deep breath before I go to the next scene where I have absolutely nothing on my face. It's not a pretty sight. And we are going to try this on with a little bit of the foundation, and then we are going to give it one heck of a wear test. So stay right there. Okay, you guys know how I do my concealer reviews now because we've had so many of them. Let me show you what we're working with, and I am crazy tired. So I do need some concealer, and I know it shows. I'm tired. We all are, right? We all are. We're all working really hard. We're all stressed. It always seems like it's just you. Trust me, we all are. We're in this together, guys. All right, let me show you what we're working with here. I often refer to the redness around my nose because I have such allergies. You can even kind of hear them in my voice now, and around my chin. And up here, I also have some, I guess it's genetic, just my veins show right there. It's not a pretty look, but the star of the show, so much of a star that it actually has its own theme song that precedes it, or I should say at least comes along with it. It is the inner corner of my eyes and just kind of underneath here, which I like to call the dark pits of despair. And there they are right there on both eyes. And right there. Now, just like I did with the Mario concealer release that I reviewed a few days ago, I do know that a lot of people will use this in conjunction with the Triclone Skin Tech foundation. So we will do that as well. But what we're going to start with, we're going to actually go backwards because really, though I want to see how it interacts with the foundation, the show is really about the concealer. So let's kind of do it backwards. There's no rules. We're going to do concealer and then foundation. I do always tell you that normally I would really do color corrector, foundation, and then concealer, but I would like to see how this concealer kind of does on its own. So we're going to start with the shade 20 light medium around the eyes, and then we'll do the 21 around the rest of the face. The 21 is neutral again. This shade 20 has a little bit of peach, so it might do that color correcting for me. I am putting this onto bare skin. I'm not doing a color corrector because I just want to see how this performs, if it creases, etc., etc. And I am going to let it kind of chill out here a little bit on my skin. because it's best to do that, especially if you're covering a blemish. If you really have an ugly blemish that you need to cover, in between layers, it's nice to kind of let the concealer chill out. I'm just opening up the 21 here, and we'll use that neutral shade on the rest of my face. I have a little bit of hyperpigmentation, and if I could, if I could take a bath in my concealer, frankly, I would. Lately, I think I rely on my concealer a little more than my foundation. My foundation I use to even out my skin tone, but my concealer I use to hide from the world the dark pits of despair. Okay, I think I've let it sit long enough. I'm going to be using Sonia G Fusion brushes and a Lotus brush with they have mixed fibers of synthetic and natural, and that mix really helps apply the product well. Boy, I finally have a good shade choice here. I've been messing with so many concealers, and the Glossier was so light, just a mess. So let's just do one side of the face. Did I say I was going to? See, I'm so tired. So ignore the polka dots on the other side. Just pretend that you don't see them. As I often say, willingly suspend your disbelief as I blend away. And let's take a look. I am impressed. I cannot tell you how many of you have told me you were waiting for this before you bought another. Whoa, holy moly. Okay, I am impressed. So let's take a look first at the dark pits of despair. What do you think? Hidden pretty well? Holy moly. All right, I'll go ahead and speed it up so that you're not bored as I blend the other side. Oh boy, blended like a dream. Slightly thicker feeling, but I only needed that one coat. Wow. Okay, let's take a look first around the nose. And we're gonna do a wear test, so we'll see how this sits. Here are the dark pits of despair. Really, they're so good they get their own theme music. You guys think I put that in? No, when I mention them, it does it itself. Don't yours if you have them when you look in the mirror? Oh wow. What allergies? What dark pits of despair? Why is this good? I have to dislike one of these, right? I mean, I've got to be able to figure out what to recommend. All right, as you guys know from my intro, I have the 210 in the foundation, and this was matched in store, so it's about as good of a match as you can get. And I'm going to go ahead and just apply that very lightly to the rest of the face so we see how they play together. As I mentioned earlier, generally, yeah, you wouldn't do concealer first, but I wanted us to just see what that was like. Okay, a little more, and I will speed things up so that you're not just bored to tears. Oh wow, I'm just crazy impressed, you guys. Okay, so a little bit out of order. We have the 20 on bare skin, the 21 on bare skin, and we have the foundation in 210 on the rest of the face, and that's the complexion done. No primer, no color corrector, heaven forfend, and no powder. And I'm not going to powder it. We are going to wait. What I'm going to do now is I am going to put on the rest of my makeup, and then in a moment you're going to see the wear test, and I'm going to let it go a long time today because I think this is going to be good. So I want to see if I'm right. Let's see if my prediction is right. And I'm going to film the intro in freshly applied makeup, and then we will do the wear test. So stay right there. Well, I hope I don't go anywhere today and try to do my complainy thing about how tired I am, because I don't think anyone would believe me. It has been 6 hours. That's a long day for me. It has been a week. You can ask me in comments. Some of you already know everybody's fine. Everything's good. But I am exhausted. And I have been up at this point with a 15-minute nap, probably for 14 hours. And I've been wearing this for 6. And I'm not going to fool anyone. People are going to think I'm lying. Oh, you guys, this stuff is really good. I already took a sneak peek in the mirror. I cheated on you, I'm sorry, but let's look together, okay? Now remember, I have a very light layer of a slightly messy bottle of the Haus Labs foundation. Really, the star of the show here is the concealer, so let's take a look. Around the eyes, the dark pits of despair have no sort of color correction on them, and maybe could use it actually. But I mean, really, come on. That's pretty good. let's look around the pores and such, okay? And yes, I have the foundation, but so many of you are going to put them together that I'd be remiss. The foundation was so popular. I had to look at them together. I have not had to do this. I suppose it could use a little bit of pushing in. Yes, I have reapplied my lip oil, by the way. That didn't last for 6 hours. Okay? The lines under the eyes, this is not powdered. Can you imagine a little bit of color corrector and a little bit of translucent powder? I mean, it's nearly perfect without that. Can you imagine with it? Totally blurred, just glides over the top of pores here and here. And yes, I have some highlighter on where you would normally see the pores, but this doesn't sink into the pores. This is a beautiful concealer. This is a beautiful concealer. Wow. Now, I will not have time to edit this for quite a few hours, so I'll just go ahead and leave it on. This is the time I had to film. I'm going to leave it on a few more hours, and I'll comment right here how it lasted and how many hours it was, so we can get even more of a wear test in. But this is lovely. It is lovely with this foundation, but I'm sure it would be lovely with another. And for so many of you who have told me that you like to wear just bare face with a little bit of concealer, I think you'd be extremely pleased. The chart online kind of gives you some ideas of whether you want it to be your skin color or have a little bit of a peach leaning. There are recommendations on the Sephora site, and I believe on the Haus Lab site too, that talk about how to pair it with this if it's your foundation of choice or not. It doesn't have to be. This is a beautiful concealer. I love the Tower 28. I love the Mario. I love my Armani Power fabric. You can't pry this one out of my hands. And yes, I do have a concealer comparison coming soon, so I didn't mean to kind of give it all away, but we still have so much more to talk about. And I will, of course, keep experimenting with this new Haus Labs concealer, so I'm sure there'll be more of the story to tell. In fact, I know there will be, and we will talk about that when we get together for a concealer roundup. But if you were waiting for this one, I am most impressed, and I am very tired and cranky. So if I'm being happy about something, there's something to be happy about. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. The Dark Pits of Despair are maybe even thinking of changing their theme song. No. Nothing is that good, right? All right, go ahead and comment your thoughts, especially those of you that were waiting to see if the Haus Labs concealer would be the one. Make sure you comment your thoughts down below and your opinions. It all matters. It's what makes us a community. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I sure hope that you did. Hey, if you haven't already done so, why haven't you subscribed to this channel? It really helps the channel grow, and it's a favor to me if you click subscribe, and I certainly appreciate it. Also, come on over and say a big hello on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And don't forget, you can become a bigger part of this YouTube community by just shopping from those links below, by giving super thanks, or even by becoming a channel member for weekly gossipy lives that are members only. But in truth, no matter how you are here, why you are here, or how long you're staying, I am just thrilled to have you, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Bye-bye. Who's tired? Apparently not me.